has confirmed they have found a body of a male in the water, partially decomposed, but the identity has not been confirmed. We also know this is not far from where the backpack of the missing 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier was found.
Giovanni traveled from North Carolina to Englewood, Florida with his mom and his siblings. I guess he felt the need to connect with some family members on his dad's side since they was down there in Florida. I guess he thought it'd be a good idea. He got the blessing from his mom, and then he arranged for his cousins to come pick him up. Now, these three cousins came to pick him up at 1:30 in the morning, but by 1:51 a.m., he sent a text to his mama saying, "Help me." He even tried to FaceTime his mom and his sister, but nobody picked up. The cousins even tried to call his mama, but she still didn't pick up. Then she woke up seeing she had a whole bunch of missed calls and a voicemail from, I think, her granddad or somebody like that, saying that it was an altercation with Giovanni and the cousins, and they left him on the side of the road. Now, one of the cousins claimed they was in the car, burning it down. They had some marijuana, and Giovanni started tripping out, man. He started yelling at the driver, and then he pulled out a knife. They say the cousins ran up on him, wrestled away from him, then Giovanni ran away. They say he tripped out on some real good weed or something, just started acting crazy. But at the end of the day, nobody deserves to get put out on the side of the road like at 2, 3 in the morning, man. Them the wee hours in the morning. Call the police, but just don't leave a man stranded on the side of the road. How y'all just gonna pull off on family like that, man, and leave a little 18-year-old dude stranded out there? I understand y'all saying he had a knife and he was acting crazy, but at least call police, man. Don't just do him like that.
He was in the car 20 minutes before he sent his mama that text message. The fact that the police did not take her seriously and she had to get a private investigator to investigate this, and that private investigator was the one that found the body not far from the book bag and the phone, makes you just wonder. And the cousins, why would you let him out of the car? Even if you did tell him to get out because he was acting erratic and he pulled a knife, why would you not try to call his mom or somebody that can get a hold of somebody and let them know what's going on? Y'all just literally had him get out of the car and y'all sped the fuck off. First of all, it's Florida, and if he was around a retention pond or something, there could be alligators, crocodiles, I don't know. But if he was acting like that, and I don't know if he has a backstory of mental health issues or not, but even still, that's not no reason not to call somebody. I don't care how mad you are because he pulled a knife out on you, because that's what they're claiming. But what in your mind tells you, oh, I'm just gonna leave him here and I'm gonna pull off, knowing that he's not from this area, knowing that he doesn't know much about where you guys are at? Y'all just left him on the side of the road like he was trash. And then again, so disappointed in the police department because y'all did not take this mama seriously, and she had to come out of her own pocket to get a private investigator. I truly feel like they didn't search that area, and if they did, wouldn't they have some type of footage of that? I don't know, I'm just asking, because just something about this case just doesn't sit right with me.
His cousins did something to him. Giovanni Pelletier, I'm just now hearing about this young man's story, and I truly believe that his cousins did something to him, and he was just now meeting his cousins, and he went with his cousins, and he started texting his mom in the middle of the night saying, "Help me," because obviously something was wrong. And then he was trying to FaceTime her, but it was in the middle of the night, so of course she was more than likely sleeping. He wasn't able to get a hold of her. And to think of a child being in a situation where he's reaching out to his mom saying, "Help me," and at this time he was with his cousins while he was saying, "Help me," and trying to FaceTime his mom because something was off. And then I guess the cousins are saying, well, they were smoking or whatnot, and then Giovanni started flipping out and he pulled a blade or whatnot, and then they say that they had pulled over to stop and he had got out of the car. No. Y'all are responsible for that young man. How do you have somebody come meet y'all somewhere and then say that they was flipping out, and even if they was flipping out, just leave somebody, your family, in the middle of nowhere, anything like that? And I don't believe they left that young man in the middle of nowhere. And then they just said that they found a body down there in Florida as well, off of the freeway. And it's sad because it's seeming like it's gonna be this young man. And the mom said that she had tracked his phone to try to, get to his last location. When she went to the last location, she found his bag and his phone was there and everything. And these days, kids don't just leave their phones, especially when they're getting dropped off supposedly in the middle of nowhere where they don't know where they at or anything like that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm fighting back these tears because this is one sad situation, because We don't want to think that humans in general will do something like this to one another, let alone somebody's family. I don't care if y'all was meeting for the first time. How could you lure somebody that's your blood somewhere else just to do something to them? I know me. And if somebody goes somewhere with me, I'm going to make sure that they good and they straight. Especially if they somewhere where they don't know where they at, they don't have anybody else, and the only people that they know is us that came to get them. My heart truly breaks for this mom, because I couldn't imagine how she felt, because she was asleep when her son was reaching out to her and telling her that he needed her help, but there was nothing that she could do. You know, she had to get her rest. She was asleep. She was tired. That's not her fault or anything like that. But imagine how his mom is feeling that something didn't happen to him, and she done woke up seeing those messages and everything from her son. This young man deserves justice, and I'm hoping they find out exactly what happened to him. And I'm praying by the small chance that those cousins didn't do something to this young man and they find out something else happened to him. Because if they find out that it was those cousins, I don't even want to say what needs to happen to them. But I just hope they serve justice to this young man.
Keeping up with this Giovanni Pelletier story, and I truly believe that his cousins did something to him. I don't believe them. If you don't know, Giovanni Pelletier was an 18-year-old boy that went on a trip from North Carolina to Englewood, Florida with his family, okay? And he was planning on meeting up with his father's side of the family. His father is locked up, but he was planning on meeting with his cousins and his grandpa. Now, his father, just be clear, his father didn't want him hanging out with those cousins. So that goes to show that they're trouble. But Giovanni left with his cousins, and 25 minutes into that, he wrote his mother, text his mother, help, okay? But she was sleeping. She didn't see that. He also texted the grandfather, help. So at this point, it's like, why is he asking for help 25 minutes into being in the presence of his cousins that he doesn't really know? Apparently, they got into some type of altercation, argument, and they left him on the side of the road. I don't care about anything. If I go somewhere with somebody and we argue, I'm not leaving you on the side of the road. I'm turning around. I'm bringing you back to where you came from. But I'm not leaving you on the side of the road, especially if you're supposed to be blood of mine. I don't care how close we not. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are blaming his mother. His mother was probably truly like, he's 18. Let me go and, let him get to know that side of the family. He deserves that. Nobody knew he was going to die. So, yeah, but I truly believe that they did something horrible to that boy. And they don't want anybody to find out, but everything comes to the light. Everything done in the dark comes to the light always. Remember that.
I'm finding it hard to believe that no one knows where this 18-year-old boy is at. So at the end of July, Giovanni Pelletier, his mom and family went from North Carolina to Florida for a vacation. Now, while on this vacation, Giovanni wanted to reconnect with his father's side of the family due to the fact that his father was incarcerated. So him and his 3 cousins from his father's side set it up and made a plan to link. They drove to Englewood, Florida to come and get him to bring him to his grandfather's house. Now, mind you, when they got there, it's now August 1st at 1:30 in the morning. He links with them and they start going on their way to their grandfather's house. 25 minutes into the trip, he texts his mom, help. A couple of minutes after that, he tried to FaceTime his mom. Mind you, it's wee hours in the morning. She didn't answer. Again, this is his first time meeting his cousins. So apparently something is going on, because not only did he text his mom, FaceTime his mom, he texts other family members. Now, mind you, again, it's wee hours in the morning, so nobody's answering. So morning comes, his mom sees the missed messages, sees the missed FaceTime. Of course, we know she called 911. But she also called the cousins to find out what happened. And this is where the story takes a turn. They said that they were all smoking bud. And while they were smoking bud, I'm guessing Giovanni started tripping. He pulled the knife out on them. They had an altercation, so they pulled over their car, let him out, and they went their separate ways. Now, mind you, in the process of all of this, after the so-called altercation, nobody let the mom know anything that happened with Giovanni. Mind you, again, he's from North Carolina. He was in Englewood, Florida, going to another part of Florida that was 3 hours away from where he was vacationing at. And no one thought to say, you know what? This is wrong. Let me call his moms. Let me text his moms also. They didn't do that. But check this out. Mom started doing her detective work, calling people, trying to find out what's going on. So she tracks his phone. When she tracks his phone, she goes to the location where it says his phone is. She finds his bag, and in his bag is his phone. And that's another red signal. Because like all of these kids nowadays, these kids will not put their phone down. There is no way. And that's the same thing she said. There is no way he would leave his phone in his bag. Mind you, shit started getting even more wicked. So the stories that was given to the police and the story that was given to the mom was two separate stories. Story that's given to mom, they got into an altercation, he pulled a knife out and ran away. Story given to the police, after he hit the bud, he started tripping, they got into an altercation, he walked away. And now they're saying that they found a body in the same area that Giovanni's bag was in. They haven't identified who it is, but now they're saying that they found a body where his bag and his phone was found. Whose body is that? And if that is his body, somebody knew about that. His cousins had to know about that because you guys were the only person with him. I definitely will keep you updated because this shit is crazy.
From the point of him getting out of the car to where his body was found, finding evidence, DNA evidence, how did he die? What's the cause and manner of death?
His cause of death likely to provide clues investigators can then match up with the version of events given by the cousins he got in the car with. 20 minutes after getting in that car came that ominous text to his mom asking for help. His cousins telling investigators Gio was acting erratically and pulled a knife before leaving him on the side of the road.
Well, maybe he had some kind of episode and panicked, ran out of the car, and fell into the water somehow. It just sounds very hokey that would be the situation. But the fact that he called asking for help several times to different family members is something that they really are probably focusing.
Experts say one way or another, the cousins he was with will have to be fully investigated before ruling them out.
My question would be, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call the family? How long was it before they actually talked to the family to say, oh, he's not missing, here's what happened? That's the timeline's going to be very crucial on that.
Yeah, that 20-minute timeline, so crucial. And again, that investigation now continuing.